Well, good afternoon and welcome to San Angelo Live. I'm Yantis Green. We're back at the political desk. It's Tuesday, so we're not talking about county races or statewide races. We're focused on the special election for San Angelo City Council, Single Member District 5. Joining me today is a candidate in that race, Karen Hesse Smith. Karen, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to the opportunity to speak to the members of District 5 directly.
Great. We're glad you're here. Single Member District 5 is sort of landlocked. It's sort of the center of San Angelo, the Santa Rita neighborhood and College Hills, that area.
Right.
So this special election came about because Lane Carter decided he wanted to run for county judge, and he resigned as appropriate, and now we have this race with 4 people in it, and it's very short. It's sort of sandwiched between the regular election cycle, so y'all have a lot of work to do in a short time to do it. Karen, the voters would need to know as much as they can about who the candidates are, and that's why you're here. So who are you? What do you want the voters to know about your background, family, education, history?
I'm Karen Hesse Smith, as stated, and I'm married 29 years to a great guy. We have one college-age daughter of whom we are very proud. I was born here in San Angelo. My family has lived in District 5 for 5 generations, almost 100 years. For those who may not know, my father was a former 2-time head of city planning, and my mother has dedicated her life to the restoration and preservation of Fort Concho. She has additionally been a persistent force for other areas of the city, including the development of downtown San Angelo and other historically relevant properties, but of course in San Angelo. And it's a wonderful privilege to be able to follow in the wonderful volunteer footsteps of my parents. I graduated from Central High School. I attended ASU. And then after 2 years, I transferred to the University of Texas, where I took my degree in behavioral science. Following that, I spent 5 years in a special program for architecture and city planning. And I finished that 5-year journey under the supervision of faculty from MIT. We were serving on an international project team, 22 people from all over the world, and we were stationed in China. All of the projects that we designed and proposed to the government have been built. People have seen them, reported back to me, taken pictures. As you may be aware, endeavors like architecture and city planning, they're team-oriented. So it's important that you be able to work as a group effectively. Project teams that I worked on professionally, I worked for about a decade and a half in Santa Fe, New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and those project teams, several of our projects, which included both high and low density housing, the restoration of a historic cathedral, the restoration of the Santa Fe Opera, and the introduction of a large hotel into a highly restricted, historically relevant part of the city, were award-winning projects. So I think it speaks well for the ability to work in groups to achieve exceptional goals in a very restrictive environment. Because I'm married, I followed my husband twice when he was promoted, and in those years, I was able to enjoy a second career where I became the regional director for a nationwide retailer. 8 district managers reported to me, and 450 employees also reported to me. I believe that I would bring a unique voice to the City Council because of my background in architectural development, city planning, and team-oriented business efforts.
All right. That's quite a resume. And that leads into our next segment. What the San Angelo City Council Single Member District 5 is unique and has its own challenges. And so what do you see as the issues facing Single Member District 5 and the city going into the next 15 months or so?
Well, there's a very famous quote that goes something like this: life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing to help others? I've been talking to the residents of District 5, and I've spoken to a lot of people, all kinds of people: doctors, ranchers, students, teachers, members of our military, retirees. And many people choose to live here because of the benefits of this town. We have the benefit of friendly neighborhoods. We have community values. We feel like we know our neighbors, and we are further secured by that relationship. Okay. But they are also concerned about a number of things. They are concerned by the fact that despite the promises made, they are still not satisfied with the promises of infrastructure provided by the city. Okay. People are still concerned about their streets, about their water, about their sewer, about our high property taxes, which, by the way, are the second highest in the state, which seems unusual for a city of this size. So I would suggest that even though this is a very short-term election, the most urgent thing, to go back to the quote, is to be a good listener. A city council person is elected to represent, not for fame, not for fortune, not to get their own crown or to write a book, but to represent the voices of the people. So I pledge to continue listening. I have a number of ideas for how that might be accomplished: forums, digital surveys, neighborhood meetings, and block parties. But I think their concerns are real, and I would hope that in that short time that we could work together to develop a strategic vision and to hold the city accountable.
All right, that's a full plate, even for a full term. So there are 4 people in this race, and the voters of Single-Member District 5 have a choice to make.
They do indeed.
The rest of today and on Saturday. And this is where I get to stand back from the microphone and open this up to what you need to tell the voters to get them to vote for you. This is one of the largest audiences you'll probably face in this race. We have, like I say, the circulation number would be about 60,000, 62,000, somewhere around in there. So a good chunk, we hope, of Single-Member District 5 can hear you.
I hope so.
And so, again, I'm going to back out. No leading questions, no nothing. This is between you and the voters. So what is your message to the voters of Single-Member District 5?
Other candidates have spoken at some length and with some vigor about their interest in economic growth. It's simple, basic junior high economics. A city must grow or it cannot survive. We can't stay static. We can't go backwards. So yes, I'm also for economic growth, but wholesale economic growth without sensitive forethought will steer San Angelo in a direction I don't think we want to go. Do we really want to be just another big city, or a beautiful, well-run, smaller city, a gem, if you will? The American people are already migrating in large numbers away from big cities to smaller cities like ours. If we could deliver a product, the city, that is indeed sensitive to rising tax rates and can control that, if we can correct our problems with infrastructure and also be better marketers of our city with that strategic vision that I mentioned earlier, I believe we position ourselves in a way to become attractive to that population migration already well underway that we are all familiar with. I would like to refer to a statement made by a former city leader, which was more or less, do we just want to become a parking lot in between Midland and Houston? And this is in reference to the prospect of 2 interstates coming to San Angelo. I suspect that we do not. In fact, I can tell you that the citizens I have spoken to are not in favor of that. Our council is the front line. We need to, again, listen to our people. They want to preserve what they love about this city, the neighborliness, the fiscal conservative values, and we need to honestly represent their voices. So I hope that you will elect me, and I make you my promise and my pledge that I will continue listening to you. Together we can make a difference.
All right. Very good. Very good. Karen Hesse Smith, one of 4 candidates on the election is actually Saturday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. There are 3 locations to vote. How do they get hold of you, and how do they get to know more about you in the meantime?
I have a website to which I can refer you, KarenHesseSmith.com. There is a easy-to-use link inside the website where you can leave your comments and questions. I'd be happy to take your questions. And that comes to me literally immediately. So I recommend that for further information about my values, my goals for the city, and my intention to represent you fairly and honestly.
All right. Karen Hesse Smith, an Angelo City Council member candidate, single member District 5. The election is Saturday. You can still vote till 7 o'clock tonight.
5 o'clock tonight.
Oh, is it 5 o'clock
Yes,
tonight?
sir.
Okay, I stand corrected. 5 o'clock tonight, and then from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday. That wraps up our little conversation. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks so much for having
Appreciate
me.
it. And for San Angelo Live, I'm Yantis Green.